Hello again everybody, back with another video. This time I'm not doing a lot of the work. It's mainly an excerpt from a brilliant video by For the Love of the Truth channel, and I've called this part of his video CV-19 is not a high consequence infectious disease, so why all the fuss? And that'll become quite clear when we look into the video. So the video the excerpt is from is outlined in red there, and it's called Don't Forget You're Mr. COVID 2020 Posing Pouch, The Sun's Incitement of Violence and Brexit. Now I am only playing the very first part of this. If you want to go across and watch the rest of the video, he does an excellent section on face masks. Feel free to go over, give him a thumbs up, subscribe to him. But it's an excellent video. Now, I was going to cover this, but this guy has done a much better job than I could have done. So let's get on and watch the video.
Greetings guys, welcome back. I think sometimes we have a tendency to bombard people with information and links to different documents and videos, and I think people get a bit word blind and start going round and round in bloody circles. I think what we need to do, guys, is give them just key bits of information, just perhaps one, like this. Just pass this on to them. This is from the, as you can see, the UK government website. Guidance, High Consequence Infectious Diseases, HCID. Guidance and information about high consequence infectious diseases and their management in England. The status of COVID-19. As of the 19th of March, COVID-19 is no longer considered to be a high consequence infectious disease in the UK. The Four Nations Public Health HCID group made an interim recommendation in January 2020 to classify COVID-19 as a HCID. This was based on consideration of the UK HCID criteria about the virus and the disease, with information available during the early stages of the outbreak. Now that more is known about COVID-19, the public health bodies in the UK have reviewed the most up-to-date information about COVID-19 against the UK HCID criteria. They have determined that several features have now changed. In particular, more information is available about mortality rates, which are low overall. I'm glad they admit it. And there is now greater clinical awareness and a specific and sensitive laboratory test. Oh, really? There is there? I don't think there was when this was written, guys. The availability of which continues to increase. The Advisory Committee on Dangerous Pathogens, ACDP, is also of the opinion that COVID-19 should no longer be classified as a high-consequence infectious disease. Oh, really, guys? Then why are we being made to social distance, follow the hours, wear masks, bleach our hands every 10 minutes? The need to have a national coordinated response remains. No explanation why that is, by the way. They just say it remains. We just have to take their word for it, that the need for this remains. This, of course, is the excuse they're now using to do all the things I've just mentioned. Force you to social distance, follow the hours, wash your hands and wear masks. Disregarding what is written above it, guys. The stuff I've just read out. But this is being met by the government's COVID-19 response. I don't understand why a national coordinated response remains. If it's not a HCID, then what's the problem? Then it is no greater than flu or the common cold, or any other damn infection that we get year on year and recover from quite easily, quite simply, quite quickly. Cases of COVID-19 are no longer managed by HCID treatment centres only. All healthcare workers managing possible and confirmed cases should follow the updated National Infection and Prevention Guidance for COVID-19, which supersedes all previous guidance for COVID-19. This guidance includes instructions about different personal protective equipment, PPE, and we now know that actually the masks, for the most part, the vast majority of them, are completely ineffective, but I'll come on to that in a moment. Assembles that are appropriate for different clinical scenarios. So, having said that, let's look at the definition of an HCID. In the UK, a high consequence infectious disease is defined according to the following criteria. So let's look what they are. It's an acute infectious disease. Well, they're telling us that this isn't then. So COVID-19 isn't an acute infectious disease. Right? Just let that sink in, guys. They're admitting it's not that. So what the hell are we social distancing then? Why are we social distancing? Why are we wearing masks? Why, guys? They don't do it for anything else. They don't do it for flu. I mean, they don't do it for any other infection. Why do we have to have it for this, what is being seen as a rather mild infection? And if it's not serious, then why are we messing, guys? Typically has a high case fatality rate. Well, in this case, it doesn't. They've told us that the mortality rate is low. May not have effective prophylaxis or treatment. Often difficult to recognise and detect rapidly. Ability to spread in the community and within healthcare settings. Well, obviously this hasn't. So again, yes, it begs the question, why are we doing all the things that I've just mentioned previous? Requires an enhanced individual population and system response to ensure it is managed effectively. Well, this is the wearing of masks and the social distancing and so forth, right? So it is a HCID then, is it? Is it? I'm just asking, guys, because the last point on there, you see, they're telling us that this is required. This is mentioned right there. The need to have a national coordinated response remains. That's that. Look, population and system response. The system response, guys, is that. So if it requires that, this government COVID-19 response, then it is a HCID. They can't seem to make their fucking mind up. Is it or isn't it? On the one hand, they're telling us it isn't. Don't worry about it. The mortality rate is low. It's not a high consequence infectious disease. Don't worry about it. However, we're still going to fuck you around from arsehole to breakfast time because, hey, it's in the script. And then it goes on to list some examples of high consequence infectious diseases. No cases of the latter one, SARS, since 2004, but SARS remains a notifiable disease under the International Health Regulations 2005, hence its inclusion here. So guys, you know, we are not at risk from this high consequence infectious disease because it isn't one. Therefore, let's get back to fucking normal. Let's lift all this bullshit. Let's protest. Let's rebel against this, guys, because the government themselves, there it is, right fucking there, guys, are telling us that it is not, as of the 19th of March, considered to be a high consequence infectious disease. Therefore, we don't need the government's COVID-19 response. We don't need a coordinated response. Go and fuck yourselves. You only need a coordinated response for a HCID, and it tells you there it requires population and system response. If it's not a HCID, then we don't need that, and we don't need that. It seems pretty fucking straightforward to me, guys.
A very good point put over very, very well and very, very eloquently. So thanks for that part of your video for the love of the truth. And just remember, I have put the link to the original video in the description, and I'll also put it in a pinned comment. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, goodbye.